TNBC has been a bad actor. We don't have any definitive targets, so it's been tough to treat. We haven't made much progress. We have some immune checkpoint inhibitor for a select number of patients. So it's always been challenging because all we have been using is mostly, cytotoxic chemotherapies. And, the duration of responses have been limited. Of course, there are toxicities, and most of the patients don't get much out of, these cytotoxic chemotherapies. So, of course, we are very excited about multiple antibody drug conjugates that have come in this space. And, we had approval for SG, sacituzumab, govitecan, and now, we have another antibody drug conjugate, dato-DXd. So this is a very exciting time for treating triple-negative breast cancer. So as we have more options, we have more challenges.
Yeah, we're going to dive deep into those challenges. Because, of course, where options come more decision-making for us, which can be very stressful. It's a good thing for patients, but a little stressful for us. And, I think when I meet these metastatic triple-negative breast cancer patients, it's always hard because it feels like every turn we're getting disappointed by something, right? You're hoping that they come back estrogen or HER2 positive, they're not. You may be hoping that they come back PD-L1 positive and they're not. And then you end up in this place where you have triple-negative PD-L1 negative. And I guess we should put in the PD-L1 positive, but maybe immunotherapy ineligible patients there, because that's a real issue, right? We know starting that these patients are going to have poor prognosis, and they often come to us very sick. I think high tumor burdens, as you all are saying, very symptomatic disease, sometimes to the degree that it's hard to treat, period. What do you feel is the case for patients who you may only have one shot to treat them? Does that come up in your clinics where you know that if you sort of don't get it right in the first line, that you might not have a second chance? Is that a realistic phenomenon?
And unfortunately, that's true. And unlike the other two subtypes that we've talked about, where sequencing can get a little bit more flexible because it's like, okay, we'll just be using this one next time. Sometimes they're having a lot of visceral hepatic burden, and so we're looking at liver function tests that may make them ineligible or much, much sicker. And that balance is so critical to getting it right the first time and giving the most aggressive drug, because we might not get a second shot.
And I think that's real, right? That's not just something, I know we read about it in papers, we hear experts talk about it, but I think we live that experience.
No, that's totally agree. From a lot of studies and reports, we know that about 40 to 50% of patients never see second line. And, when you have a bad disease, we definitely want to give them the best drug, in the first line setting, because that's where we're going to make a difference for these patients. So, I totally agree. As we have better drugs, we do want to give them upfront and not wait for using them in second or third line settings.